Scribble notes.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins, casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins, with organs shining under their skin, and even ether welkins, hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. You should adopt one of those welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a welkin. One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however. It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-Welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with Welkin, Green Welkin, Dread Welkin, and the High Welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Just look at those details. So much effort.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried-up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much-needed respite from our own world. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
It looks at the frigid ice field of nothingness.
Note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: Call in, Tune Out, Wirral Untethered, and Heat Death of the Universe. The full text reads, "Heat Death of the Universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s.
The people that made Wirral. Where are the clothes it used to display? I don't know, mate. You sleep after 2100 hours. Sleeping heals all your health and morale. Hooray! Ooh. They've got even more cozy and snug and cozy. Wall collapse is inaccessible now.
thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs, the echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
Kim, what is this thing?
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
You hear a woman's voice answer. This is the police. Who's there?
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
you hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
May your hands recall those voices I heard. Maybe it's kick it with your foot. Leave. I made a friend. It was a box. Mate, this is all dark and stuffy. Mesh tank top. Short on money? Equip a plastic bag. Collect bottles and sell them at Frit. Oh, I don't have to equip the plastic bag. That's stupid. Right. So it's all one building and I just got out of the... I see. What are you then?
2 cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads off into the darkness, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
I'll leave them both intact for now. Otherwise I'll just break things. Do you like breaking things? How do I get up there? Can I get up there? I can. 2 rusty rifles are hidden above the piping. They look inoperable. Boo! Someone has stuck some busted guns beneath the ceiling. Oh, why would you do that?
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to...
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way.
Where are we?
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
Might come in useful for the future. That is a good point there. Young, follow me, Scouse. I wanted to get the bear fridge. What's in the bear fridge?
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy?
Is this thing? It looks like a
The
giant
bear
ice bear.
doesn't answer. His eyes are glued to the animal. A sharp slice of light shines out from its mysterious belly door.
Crack
A
open the
gust
door.
of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
That's game, it's a fridge.
Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge.
He relaxes his hand, his face bathed in the harsh light.
Let's
of
take
the
a look
fridge.
inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
Take the
You
note.
pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door.
Yeah, D. Examine one of the ice cream
A
wrappers.
friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
What's a giant bear-shaped fridge doing in an abandoned cellar in the first
Good
place?
question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Lieutenant reaches for one of the wrappers. He studies it in light. They tried to sell ice cream from this
I know.
hyper
What
carnival.
an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The lieutenant points at the red snaky cable running from the
The
fridge.
fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic.
Close the door. So you're plugged in on the red one, which I could have unplugged, but I didn't. Because of how brilliant I am at games. Also because of how likely it is that I would have lost it. Okay, so back up the stairs. Said something about the second floor, so this is the first floor? Said something about a curtain. So this is a curtain?
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The whole thing resembles Cadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse, unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced.
We're dealing with something medical here.
Perhaps. The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. They must have had massive airwidth. These things don't come cheap.
Right. Who's
Someone
the
very important. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency.
It's a game then.
Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like. A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Ilmara. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became.
This werewolf fellow must have been huge.
Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
What else?
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
So that's wise, because they've got a game running under them that's costing them a lot of...
What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace?
Like an undercover counterintelligence program. It's just a fair business. The only question is, what the hell were they making?
Yes, that is the question.
They were making a roleplay
He's
game.
ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like a puzzle box.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
How do you plan to do that? Has anyone ever done this before? This was a role-playing game?
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately. This game is too good to be left unfinished.
Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the Game Master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into
What do you
sub-frequencies.
think happened to the company?
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Not in Revachol West, among the ruins.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an interinsulary game before. We just don't have the technology.
Interesting.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but
They had to cheat money out of their investors' pocket. The curse got them. Any money? Let's give them more money so they can finish it and make it even bigger.
it's too late for that, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid. He says, looking around the derelict room. Pipes howl.
Okay, let's keep moving.
Handwritten note from the fridge. You got me a rifle! Clinically insane. The floorboard creaks. Does someone live here? I don't know. You're supposed to be able to tell me. The Delta 51. This tray is full of dice, colourful polyhedral, hundreds of them. It's the roleplay master. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice.
Hello, I'm Nia.
Bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald light shining through her
Try
hair.
knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius. So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by Melissus? You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window. Why are you asking me about dice?
Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
There's the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
Never mind.
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
I need some dice. Maybe I'm not really sure why I'm here, honestly.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
Those around her are covered with rows of precious stones and
It
minerals.
almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
How did you become a dice
How did
maker?
I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
You like role-playing
Not
games yourself?
especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
What do you know about the man who was lynched? Hey, why are we... Where are we anyway? Where's this
We're
place?
inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks up. The ruddy bricks that make up the walls, even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and
When I
there.
arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
Lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into
When she
shadows.
arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
Okay, I'd like to order those. What do you know about the man who was lynched? Heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people called it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
She nods as the wind howls in from the furnace shaft above. Wait, how do you explain what happened to all those companies then?
It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?